Many men hug a woman without even thinking about it as if it's just a casual gesture, but what most men don't realize is that the way you hug a woman sends an immediate signal to her subconscious. In many cases, it silently tells her that your masculine presence is weak or uncertain, curious. The reality is that most men have never been shown how to hug a woman in a way that actually creates a positive emotional response. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 different types of hugs. Each one sends a completely different message to her subconscious about who you are and how you carry yourself. And then there's a 4th hug. That one is the real difference maker. It's the hug that makes a man stay in her memory long after the moment is over. Intrigued? Strangely, almost nobody talks about it. So stay with me until the end. Welcome to... Here, the goal is simple. We talk honestly about female psychology and social dynamics so you can understand what women truly experience internally, even when they never say it out loud. No judgment, no games, just clear insight into how attraction and emotional reactions really work. Before we go further, I want you to hear this clearly. If you've gotten this wrong in the past, don't beat yourself up about it. Most men were never taught this. Society gave you a lot of advice about how to talk to women, how to dress, or how to impress them, but when it comes to physical connection, especially something as simple as a hug, that part of the script was completely missing. So take a moment, relax, and understand that today you're learning something most men never even realize exists. There is a basic principle in female psychology that explains why this matters so much. Women usually feel first and analyze later. While you might be mentally calculating what to say or how to act, her emotional system has already made a quick judgment about how being near you feels. This reaction happens at a biological level. The limbic system in the brain responds before logic has time to step in. A hug is powerful because it skips the entire conversation. It bypasses words and logic and goes straight into that emotional center of the brain. Within just a few seconds of physical contact, often less than 4, her body is already answering questions she might not even consciously realize she's asking. Does this man make me feel safe? Does he have a calm, grounded presence? Does he seem comfortable with himself? You could be intelligent, successful, and even charming in conversation, but if that moment of physical contact feels awkward, distant, or uncertain, her subconscious can quietly override all those positive traits. If this idea is starting to make sense to you, take a moment to show support by liking the video. It helps us know that these insights are actually helping you understand something deeper about attraction and connection. Now let's talk about the first mistake many men make. The weak hug. You've probably experienced this before, either giving it or receiving it. It's the hug where your arms barely make contact with the other person. Your body stays several inches away, almost like there's an invisible wall between you. The pressure is so light that it feels like you're trying not to touch her at all, as if you're worried you might do something wrong. Instead of creating warmth or confidence, this kind of hug communicates hesitation. It feels uncertain and disconnected, almost like you're apologizing for being there. And when a woman feels that lack of presence, her subconscious immediately picks up on it. Sometimes the hug becomes even more distant. Instead of using both arms, a man reaches out with just one. The classic side hug that feels more like a formality than real contact. On the surface, it might seem polite, but psychologically, it sends a completely different message, or thoughtful. That kind of hug quietly signals doubt, hesitation, and a lack of confidence. Her subconscious reads it as a man who isn't fully comfortable with himself. She probably won't stop and analyze that thought in her mind, but she will feel it emotionally, and that feeling tends to linger longer than most men realize. Size. The second mistake sits on the opposite extreme, and it can be just as damaging. This is the overly aggressive hug. Instead of uncertainty, the man goes too far the other way. He squeezes much harder than the moment calls for, holds on longer than feels natural, or allows his hands to drift into places that are inappropriate for the situation. Exhales sharply. That isn't confidence or masculine intensity. To her, it feels like a violation of personal space. In that moment, her body reacts with discomfort instead of connection. Her internal alarm starts asking a simple question: does this man respect my boundaries? The second the doubt appears, attraction fades almost instantly because safety and respect disappear from the equation. The third mistake is what I like to call the ghost hug. And surprisingly, it's one of the most common. This happens when your body is technically hugging her, but your mind isn't really present in the moment. Maybe your eyes are wandering around the room. Maybe your muscles feel stiff and tense. Some men even hold their breath or break away suddenly, like the contact made them nervous. The result is physical contact without emotional presence. She can feel that disconnect immediately. It leaves her with the sense that you were there, but not truly with her. And in many ways, that can feel worse than a weak hug because it makes her feel unnoticed or unimportant in that brief moment of connection. Now, let's talk about the type of hug that actually creates a positive emotional response, the kind that quietly communicates confidence, presence, and calm masculine energy. This deeper dynamic of presence and connection is something I explore much more inside my full guide called Secrets of Attraction. But the core idea is simple. A truly confident hug is steady, intentional, and relaxed. You don't hesitate or wait for the perfect signal. You gently take the lead. Your posture matters more than most men realize. Stand balanced with both feet grounded. Physical stability sends a subtle signal of emotional stability. One hand rests comfortably between her shoulder blades while the other sits naturally around the middle of her back. Your chest faces hers, creating a real sense of closeness without force. The pressure should be firm enough to feel secure, but never so tight that it becomes uncomfortable. Breathing is another detail that most people overlook. When you breathe slowly during the hug, your body stays relaxed. That calm energy spreads through the interaction. Human emotions are surprisingly contagious, and when you remain calm, her body often mirrors that same sense of ease. Timing also plays an important role. A good hug usually lasts somewhere between 2 and 4 seconds. That's long enough to create a real moment of connection, but not so long that it becomes awkward. It's a small window of time, but during those seconds, her mind quietly registers something important. This man feels comfortable with himself, and the ending matters just as much as the beginning. You're the one who gently releases the hug. Do it calmly, maybe letting your hands slide naturally down her arms as you take a small step back. Then meet her eyes with a relaxed expression and an easy smile. That final moment leaves the emotional imprint. Every hug, no matter how brief, gives a subtle preview of the kind of man you are. It reflects confidence, awareness, and presence in a way words often cannot. She might never consciously break down what happened, but the feeling it created will stay with her. From this moment forward, you now understand something most men overlook completely. They never realize how much a small moment of physical contact can shape the emotional memory someone carries about them. If you want to keep learning how real attraction and connection actually work, subscribe to Inside Her Heart and turn on the notification bell. Next week, I'll share another insight about female psychology, something women often feel deeply but rarely know how to explain out loud.